line went quiet for a moment, and then the operator heard breathing. Slow, calm, almost pink. The voice that followed didn't sound panicked. It sounded ordinary, giving directions to a quiet neighborhood. When observers arrived, the house looked perfectly normal. But inside, the scene told a different story, and the person responsible had already vanished, blending into everyday life like a shadow. No one noticed. In the early 1970s, small towns were the kind of places where doors were rarely locked. The community felt safe. But in 1974, that sense of security was challenged. Authorities discovered an entire family had been involved in an incident. The event shocked the community, not only because of what happened, but because there had been no warning. Weeks later, an unusual letter arrived at a local newspaper. It described an event in curious detail. The writer gave himself a mysterious nickname. The name alone was intriguing. For years, a mysterious presence seemed to watch everything. Sometimes, there were long periods of silence. Then another message would appear, sent to security or journalists. Each one carried the same eerie personality. Calm, calculated, someone who wanted to control the narrative. What made the case even more unsettling was how ordinary the unknown suspect seemed to be. Investigators searched for anyone suspicious, but the person behind the messages appeared disciplined, organized, and careful. Years passed, decades even. The city changed. Technology evolved. The case had simply faded away. It slowly became one of those haunting chapters, unfinished. Then, in 2004, something unexpected happened. A new message appeared. After years of silence, the mysterious figure reached out again. This time, the landscape had changed. The person behind the letters believed they were still invisible, but one small decision would unravel everything. In early 2005, authorities received a floppy disk. Hidden inside the file was metadata. The disk pointed to a local church computer. Investigators followed the lead carefully, tracing the data to a name that stunned everyone involved. John Doe. He wasn't a drifter. He was living openly in the community. A compliance officer, a community leader, a father. He was strict, but polite. The last person you'd ever suspect. When authorities finally intervened, the quiet neighborhood watched in disbelief. The man who had walked past them for years was the same voice behind the letters that had mystified the town. The truth that followed was deeply unsettling. The two sides of his life had existed at the same time. He managed to keep those worlds separate, believing no one would ever connect them. But the smallest digital clue broke the illusion. This case remains one of the most chilling reminders of how deception can hide in everyday places. It was standing in plain sight the entire time.